joining Ben Shapiro's The Wire platform, giving Muslims a condescending and sanctimonious and self-righteous message, and now desecration of Al-Aqsa Mosque. Now, these are some of the recent changes that took place in Jordan Peterson's life. Are these all events interconnected? Well, that's what this video is all about. Jordan Peterson, a name which is generally held pretty high in the estimation of the people who are generally sick and tired of things such as aggressive feminism and aggressive liberalism. In June 2022, he joined Ben Shapiro's The Wire Plus platform. And then on July the 13th, he uploaded a video in which he gave Muslims a piece of advice. Throughout the video, he maintained a simple theme. You, the Muslims, are primitive savages, and I am giving you a paternalistic advice because I happen to be a civilized, elite white man. He kept on referring to things such as Muslims should stop fighting among one another, Sunnis should listen to Shias, and Shias should listen to Sunnis. Now, irrespective of the fact that these problems are out of date at least by a generation. Muslims don't fight among each other anymore, not at least as a system. And individually here and there things still happen. Things happen everywhere in the world, of course. But that systematic violence is no longer there among Sunnis and Shias because Muslim youth, they have realized that we have to coexist, and now we have a different issues and challenge to deal with, and they are dealing with it, fair enough. Now, Jordan Peterson seems to be unaware of these developments, but to be honest, that is not the main problem. The main problem was choice of another particular word, Jew. He kept on mentioning that the Muslims should treat Jews better, should think of Jews better. Now, mind you, Jordan Peterson is a wordsmith and he knows how to make use of his words. But this tabloid grade use of the word Jews, implying that the Muslims hate Jews and we have problem with Jews, is bizarre. We don't have any problem with Jews. We have a problem with a very particular political ideology called the Zionism, and we express ourselves to that effect. I don't think there is anything wrong with that. You are entitled to have your opinions, but there is no systematic hatred towards the Jewish population. In fact, at the moment, emotionally, us the Muslims are pretty close to the Jewish community given the fact that the type of atrocities they had endured in the Second World War, well, we are enduring fairly similar around the world, so we can understand their pain more than anybody else can. But that is not to say that we can forget what is happening in Palestine. In fact, our complaint reaches a greater degree of resentment and pain when we ask these Zionists that what your parents, what your forefathers had to endure, well, that should live down in your information. You should know that doing the same things to other people is simply not the solution, is not the right way. And it's not us the Muslims are saying this. And if Jordan Peterson thinks that when we complain against these atrocities, when we speak about these atrocities, that has something to do with Muslims versus Jews, if that were the case, then how about all the resolutions in the United Nations against the state of Israel? Are they also against Jews? No, sir. This is where the problem is, because when you look at these events, they are so close to one another that despite the fact that there isn't any evidence of somebody telling Jordan Peterson or Jordan Peterson telling other people that, look, I have changed my views about the Muslims and Israel and everything else, therefore I am going to be a changed man now. Of course, there is no such evidence available, but how about the circumstantial evidence? How about putting all these dots together, connecting them? Is there a policy change in Jordan Peterson? Is the Jordan Peterson that we had known for a long time, the guy who would speak his mind irrespective of what people would think of him, is that Jordan Peterson now gone? Well, it certainly appears to be that way, and that's a very bad news for the intellectual rebels who stand against the world order People who look at Hume's Is or Debate and always sacrifice their times, their lives, their reputation for what ought to be against what is the status quo. Well, if that Jordan Peterson is gone, which seemingly is the case, well, that's a huge loss to the free thinking world.